for his inspiration for us tonight.
Okay, the theme, as you know, is inspiration. When I chose that theme, I actually remember that we've been operating for about 13 years, that we've actually used that term in the past. And I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't use that. But you know what? Our club has grown, and you can see by Pat's response that we now are analysing things at a different level because of our skill level. So I congratulate us for already engaging with the theme, and now we're going to go down through an interesting sort of set of questions based on the theme. So, the first person I'd like to ask is our Master Diane. Would you like to come up, please? The question I have for you is, who or what is your biggest inspiration?
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I was about to say that. Table topics master. My biggest inspiration changes all the time. Whilst I might be sitting with the grandchildren and they do something really incredible, I'm inspired by their activity for learning. I can be sitting on a bus and see someone who does something extraordinary for another person that's travelling on the bus and be inspired by that person. My greatest inspiration is humanity. Humanity inspires me. Reading a book that puts me in a different place inspires me. Watching a film, I was just recently watching a series called Lock and Key, and that inspired me. So humanity has some wonderful ideas and concepts, and so I'm inspired by them all. Thank you, Mr. Ted Thompson.
Thank you. For Pat, I don't know who's doing the, I'll just keep going. Pat, would you like to answer this question, please? The question is, do you think you may inspire other people, especially children? Pat.
I like to think that I do inspire other people and that I do inspire children. If you ask my children, they would say that my advice to other children doesn't really put down as inspiring them. But I've always brought my grandchildren up and inspired them the whole way. And I've always told them that they can be whatever they want. But with my grandson, because he used to get up to mischief or get into fights and things like that, I would always inspire him and tell him that it's not okay to fight, and if you can walk away, walk away. But I'm not saying to stand there and have someone let you beat them up. So, yes, I like to think that I do inspire them, but I don't really know if I do. But thank you very much.
The question I have for you, but I'll also explain it. The question is, do you think inspiration is contagious? So what I mean by that is, if you see someone being inspirational, it may encourage them.
Okay. Do I think inspiration is contagious? I actually do, so thank you for that question, Bob. I do think inspiration is contagious. I believe if you work with a group of people or you're spending time with a group of people who are interested in what they do, are passionate about what they do, are invested in helping others, you naturally will feel the same about that. Whereas if you are with a group of people who maybe don't feel passionate about their work or their interests or don't have interests, you tend to sort of take a back seat and not necessarily give 100% of yourself. So when I watch things like the Commonwealth Games or the Olympic Games or anything where someone's working towards a goal, I feel inspired. And so yes, I do believe that inspiration is contagious.
Okay, so Ben, if you could answer this question. Why do you think most great leaders were very inspirational? Ben,
What was the question again, Bob?
why do you think most great leaders were inspirational? Leaders as in, we've had some great leaders in our life, in the world, like Martin Luther King.
Okay. Yep. I'm with you. Why do I think most leaders are inspirational? Well, I guess it depends on your perspective. I mean, some leaders I think can be very inspirational in a good way and some in a very bad way. Take our government for, in some lines of me, you think of the government and what they promise to give you and they're inspired to try and give you, but to me, sometimes they never do. It's more to make you think, okay, you promised to give us this, but in actual fact, you're giving us the opposite. So, like I think in one time there was a part where they promised that in Newcastle that the train system would always be there. They would never change that because there was no point. A year later, they started ripping up the tracks in Hunter Street and put the light rail through. But yeah, I think, yeah, it depends on your perspective of what is inspired and what isn't. But yeah, thanks, Bob, for that.
Your question is, how would you explain inspirational themes and strategies if someone didn't understand? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. How would I explain something inspirational to someone that didn't understand? Well, I'd ask them, what don't they understand? And this is really important because sometimes you may hear something, but you may not understand what you're being told. It's vitally important that if you don't understand something, always ask a question. Really important. Always ask a question. Don't be afraid to ask a question because lessons in life are always about asking questions when you don't understand something. And that's how you can inspire others to do things. So how I would do that is ask more questions so that things could be understood. And back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. The question I have is, what inspires you the most? Oh, Daniel.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Bob. What inspires me is myself. And you might think that might be odd or something like that, but I try to inspire my colleagues at work. And how do I do that? It's because I make us feel welcome in the work environment, to make them feel inspired, like we care about each other. And yeah, they do laugh at me, and yeah, they realize my last name's Rue, and you know, they call my middle name Joey, and But that's how we inspire. We lift each other up. The same way I do in Toastmasters. Although I've probably inspired 2 cheeky people, but then again, I've learnt my lessons from them. Not that I would know such things, but they're very unique lessons I've learned. Back to you, Table Topics Master. Thank you, Bob, Table Topics Master. So my first speaker was Di, and I noticed that she uses very good with the body language there and uses a lot of vocal variety and a lot of emphasis. So I don't know how to tweak it, but I know she inspired me, so that's a good lesson. Thank you, Di. Followed by my next speaker is Colleen, who I also know uses great use of body language, very good vocal variety, and I feel like I'm learning a lesson from her as well of being confident in table topics. And then for my last speaker, the president was up, and well, she has very good, excellent use of body language, good vocal variety, with emphasis of what she was speaking about. And I think I've learned a lot of lessons for table topics. So I will hand it now back to Bob to hand it over to the evens.
I will just note that the 3 people I evaluated were all online tonight. So it is a little bit different when you are evaluating people online. So the first person I evaluated was Pat. Where's the camera? What's there? I'm looking there because of the camera. So Pat was asked, do you think you inspire others, especially children? Pat, I loved that you reiterated the question just to make sure everyone heard it and to also give yourself time to think about the question. You then went on to make a personal connection, which I loved. You always relate things to your grandkids, which is lovely. And I was really enjoying the lesson you were offering in terms of you don't actually know if you're inspiring other people, but you feel you are. And that, I thought, says it all, because as long as you feel like you're inspiring someone, then you're doing the right thing. So the only suggestion for you, Pat, is, and it's an online suggestion, is just be mindful of your hand. Your hand was popping in front of the camera as you were chatting. So, but otherwise it was great. Thank you. Ben was also online. And Ben's question, why were most great leaders inspirational? Again, a little bit like Pat's, it's about perspective. It's about what you actually think. So Ben said sometimes we're actually inspired to do the opposite of something we've seen or heard or been part of. So it's not always the great things that leaders do. Sometimes it's a poor leader that can inspire us, because we will then move on and say, I'm going to be better than that person, or I'm going to do it differently. Ben, you had great eye contact tonight, and you were really centered on the camera. So for you, I actually wanted to say well done tonight. I actually didn't have a tip for improvement tonight. I thought you did really well at taking up that space and doing the right thing. And Kanga, yes, what inspires you the most? No, it wasn't a silly answer. I really liked it. And again, it linked a little bit to Pat's answer. You said you find that you're inspirational and you were able to relate it to the people you work with, and you gave examples of how you inspire them. And so I think that that's a great thing, because it's that relationship building. Your tip is also linked to being online, so very different to being in the room. Again, it's being on the phone, and so maybe just being a little bit further away from the phone so that we can see a bit more of you and see if you're using body language. But otherwise, I really liked your response. So thanks, Kanga.